Hey everyone, welcome and thank you for coming. My name's Llewd Lloyd, and I'm here to talk about my thoughts on the whole phase 3 delay thing. Honestly, it's probably a good move from Intrepid. I don't really see an issue with it, but we'll go through what Intrepid wants. If you haven't watched any of the other content creators, which you probably have, they're really quick at getting out information. They're really good at that. You can do that too. This is more for my personal reaction to the delay. As we draw closer to the start of phase 3, we want to take a moment to share some of the progress made during the Alpha 2 journey and what's coming next. Over the last few months, your participation and feedback have helped us dig deep into core systems and performance improvements. Thanks to your efforts, we've made meaningful strides in areas like dynamic gridding and server performance. They've improved load balancing and real-time responsiveness to the across the realm. Unreal 5.6 transition, better lighting, stability, and overall polish. Time to kill analysis, or TTK, helping us fine-tune combat pacing and enemy health tuning. Early game flow, including how players obtain mounts, tools, and find their first questing hubs. Honestly, this has been pretty good. The tools are now no longer stuck. Like, you can trade tools and they actually show up in your inventory. That's really, really good. Node progression and player behavior. We've been tracking how players interact with the world, level up nodes, and engage in meaningful choices. This is going to be along the lines of lawless behavior zone or lawless PvP zones. Guild storage system testing that's been started in the PTR for sure. Yes. Introducing and iterating on shared storage solutions for guilds, ensuring functionality, security, and ease of use for organized play, and so much more. But we're not done yet. To ensure Phase 3 hits the quality bar it deserves, we'll be using these weeks ahead We'll be using the weeks ahead for continued iteration, polish, and testing. With that in mind, Alpha 2 Phase 3 will now begin on August 26, 2025. Yeah. So, I mean, they've been doing a lot of work on the BTR. It's actually very reminiscent of the Alpha 1 days, where the community team is really, really helping communicate with the devs. They're kind of pushing really, really hard. They're spending lots of time talking to the players. There's honestly, the Ashes of Creation Twitch channel has been really dead for weeks, if not months. Phase 2.5 was rough. There's gearing issues, there's leveling mob issues. The difficulty went up. The crafters were having a hell of a time dealing with the stuff. They reverted some of it where they made it a 2-2-1 combination when it comes to components to necessary craftables, but still crafters felt like it's really, really difficult to potentially make a living in Vera. It's just been overall too much of a grind for a testing environment in a 3-month period. And they've been doing a lot of work to change that, reshape that. They're doing economy rebalance, gear and stat changes. They're doing a ton of effort in the back end that's not really being shown in the front end, which is also why a lot of players have kind of stopped playing. And this is going to be pretty normal throughout an actual development, I think. Yeah, Ashes is not in a great state right now, but it was never promised to be in a great state always, right? So I've never really taken the stance that what we experience in the alpha needs to be hype or it needs to be amazing all the way throughout. We're going to hit these hiccups. We're going to have some of these things happen. And, it has. This phase has not been great, but they're focusing on the future and what they need to do. We just had a talk with Planendorf and Jacob on leveling throughout the anvils and how it feels and how mob placement is. They're changing all these the way PvE feels. If the mobs feel reskinned, which they kind of do. We still have minotaurs, ravens. We've replaced some mobs with rams. Wolves are kind of there. There's rams. There's bears. but like it doesn't really feel like a whole lot of the lore is in. There's not like a linear fashion of feel for progression, for character progression. There's a lot of feedback going on the PTR. Basically, anybody that has access has PTR access. I can't stream the game, unfortunately, because I'm playing mostly on the PTR, and the PTR is entirely visual NDA. So I could do what Dusty does, where he streams like past footage of gameplay while he's playing on the PTR, but I don't know. I feel like that's kind of weird. It's not like something that I really, really want to do. But what they're focused on is the anvils. The anvils are up and coming. It's the new zone. It's the new starter zone. It looks really cool. Definitely not fleshed out. There's very little content, no questing yet. I mean, there is questing, but it's very limited. The place that we got TP'd to today was actually really, really cool. There's level 4 nodes in vassalship. These need massive amounts of attention. I think there's a lot of there's like a feedback thread on the PTR channel right now that's being massively talked about on improvements to towns for not just aesthetics, but also for like node sieges. There's also reasons why people want like the storage area or the marketplace area to be more player involved, like to show that like these are places that players congregate a lot, and they should have the ability to show that and like make players spread out a little bit. Even though like they're kind of like in this massive area, they want people to like buy, sell, go to these different marketplaces. It should be bigger. It should be more immersive. Town halls and like the temple area should be a little bit more for players to go into. These are very, very big things for a city to have, and it should make players want to go there. More so than just a bulletin board with commissions and like a town hall administrator, you know? The first time user experience is being streamlined and enriched in early game experience. I will say throughout replayability from like levels 1 to 10, levels 1 to 10 feels pretty good for the first time user experience. They've added like little tips on the side for new players to kind of figure these things out. There's a lot of systems that are in Ashes that are not going to be very intuitive for a new user, like nodes. What the hell is a node? As you know, Soda Poppin said previously, like he doesn't like new players won't understand what nodes are. They'll need like an introduction, or maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just explore the world, and that's the design choice. But like the first time user experience could definitely be touched on. I'm still not even against having like a tutorial island to try to like talk to citizens, officials, like administrators and stuff like that. Like I think it's there, but it's not at the same time. I don't know really how to make it a better system. But the tips help. The quest lines help. But yeah, economy and stat rebalance, I touched on that earlier. They're working on that. There's a lot of changes happening. There's a lot of UI changes that are happening with that. Almost like you can kind of see it on the PTR, but I'm not seeing a whole lot of stat changes with well-known items. It's a lot of it is just PTR specific, like granted items, which isn't really representative of what you get in game. And the drops are still pretty abysmal from what I've experienced. So like drop tables haven't been great. There have been some areas that have been dropping a lot from specific mob types. There are some areas where drops are a little bit more prevalent or too prevalent maybe, or the design choice of what drops may be, you know, inhibiting players. So for example, people are thinking common drops should be fairly common, but they're not. Uncommon and rare should be more rare, But when you're fighting these more prevalent mobs that have higher loot tables, you are getting uncommon and rare drops more than you are common drops. Materials aren't dropping from like certain drop tables for economy. Like there's a lot of this, like they could do all the stat rebalancing that they want, but the drop tables aren't helping facilitate the world of Vera currently. And this is what we're here for, by the way. It's not to say that the game is bad, but like what could that game make the player experience better? Like that's what we are testing. We are QA or feel good testers in a way where this feedback helps them understand like, oh, well, yeah, we just haven't gotten to that part yet. Or this is something that we're working on, or we need to work towards, or something like, oh shit, I forgot. Sometimes developers are human and they just be like, yeah, that makes sense. I didn't even think about it because I was too invested in, the technicals or whatever. A lot of the feedback that the players have been giving the devs have been really, really good. They've been really, really focused. And a lot of the feedback in the background has been overwhelmingly critical on a lot of these things, but not negative. Not like this game's gonna die. Like a lot of it is just like, we just want to make the game a better game. And with that, dynamic gridding has been tested. It's been on more of a manual setting and not automatic and not continually dynamic gridded. We've had a few crashes. I haven't seen it work as intended yet. So the delay is probably very, very intentional for having dynamic gridding a little bit more polished, a little bit more functional, as it should be. The networking team is really, really good. A lot of the issues that we were having with render distance and player models and lag, a lot of that is gone. A lot of that, like the networking is in a really good state, even with dynamic gridding not fully implemented. So I think there have been major leaps in the networking side of Ashes overall. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Does it need a lot of work? Yes. Does dynamic gridding need to be in, and how good will it be? We have yet to see. I do know on the manual tests, there were like 200 people on the screen, very little lag, if any at all. Like I experienced almost maybe none. There's a few server borders where you like glitch for like a second and then you pass over and your screen, loads and everything's like fine. It's just like a very little stutter when you're crossing over some of these borders, and it's been overwhelmingly positive from a networking perspective. So I think the team's doing really good in that regard. A lot is just with content, and content is not really part of what this state of the game is in. A lot of it is supposed to be just for functionality, and the functionality is being built. So I think that's a really important thing to touch on when we talk about Ashes of Creation. And I think a lot of people forget what stage they're in and like how fast development should be. And that's where we currently are. It's very, very hard being a streamer, being a content creator for a game in alpha, and also constantly making content for something like this, especially when a lot of it is under visual NDA. So, I mean, like, there's a lot of things I wish I could show you. I almost wish I could show the bugginess and like the state of things in a work in progress, because not because like, to like show doomerism, but there's a lot of funny moments that happen. There's a lot of cool things like Dunehold were they were doing the electric slide on Rams earlier today. Like there's just a lot of cool moments. The community is still really cool, and like when you're in like focus testing with the community that's just playing the game and doing like levels 1 through 7 or like level 15 testing or level 25 testing, like that, or like POI testing or lawless PvP or just crashing the server in general. Like a lot of that is pretty good content overall. It's just really fun. And I think we're just missing the, like, a lot of the design choices are needing to be improved on. The structural of thought process of how they want the game to proceed from level 0 to 50. I think depth of archetypes or what needs to be, like expanded. There's a lot of these things that players want that I don't think the team's even ready to do. And so I think the delay of phase 3 is good. It is not going to satisfy people when they join phase 3 because it is a lot of the same stuff that we've already tested. Yeah, there's the anvils, but like the systems are still pretty similar. The crate system is coming in, which I think is a lot of fun. But then you have the conflict of, should I not be CCable? Is there a reason for corruption to be in the state that it's currently in, which is currently overtuned? So like, what is the design choice for corruption, and should we be able to test that now? Like a lot of these decisions that Intrepid have made are more so what the community is concerned about. Less so about the functionality and like the base structure of the game. And it's pretty obvious that Intrepid is entirely focused on the functionality. And there's a lot of systems that are still not in place. There's a lot of base stats that the team needs to work on in order for literally everything to come together holistically. So I think we have a long way to go. There's still systems on the roadmap where it's not entirely in phase 3 roadmap. It's like not everything is going to be there. We've had some things touched on. Freeholds are at a less than rudimentary area. We've seen that hunting is going to be changing. Animal husbandry and all the artisanship paths are extremely lacking. It most of the stuff is pretty placeholder, is like a bit of a overstatement, I would say, where they are simply just functional and that's it. There's not a whole lot to them. We have components that don't really make sense for the crafting. And I think a lot of the players are just seeing these things and they're hypercritical about these things. And that's why they don't think there's been a whole lot of progress. But a lot of the progress has been on the back end, and a lot of the back end stuff is just not visible. So it's hard to be a player, a content creator, and just talk about the things that are not continuously being updated. However, I think the team has done a pretty good job at just trying to give enough of a basis to be like, here, go do this pocket dungeon, go do this POI, go do this thing. And they kind of like throw in mobs, but the mobs don't have like real lore or story arcs attached to them, which is very, very acceptable in this state of development. So yeah, this is one of my takes where I think dooming on this project or this product it's kind of silly. I think there's a lot of work to be done. It's very obvious, and If you don't like the current state of Ashes of Creation, that's completely fine. I really, really would like to echo the sentiment of come back later if you're not having fun. For like other people that just need to take a break from the game or can't continuously follow the game, I think that's fine as well. And there should be a little bit more room for variety. I've taken quite a massive break over the last 2.5, like phase 2.5, the last 3 months. And most of that has been me watching the game from afar, being involved in the community, but I haven't been so public facing. And that's primarily why. I think that's just kind of where we're at right now, and kind of how we have to accept where we're at. But yeah, I hope I don't hope. I know this game will be good if they follow through. It won't be good if they start getting half-assed or they start rushing out systems. And overall, I think the delay is good. They just really just need to cook. I hate overusing that phrase. They really just need to cook. And the way that they're doing things, now's the time for feedback. Now's the time to continuously pester them about systems and functionality moving forward and how you'd like to progress your character throughout the world and throughout time. And I've been pretty vocal. I've been in the feedback channels, getting the feedback channels. You can take a break as much as you want from the game, but the feedback is extremely valuable. The team cares, and we all just want a really good game. Anyways, thank you all for coming. I hope you come again.